Hi, I'm Christina Applegate.
And I'm Jamie-Lynn Sigler.
And this is Messy.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to Messy. Jamie here.
And Christina here.
And we have a wonderful guest today. She is a clinician, a consultant, author of many books, international lecturer on polyvagal informed work with trauma survivors. She's also a founding member of the Polyvagal Institute. Her work in understanding polyvagal theory is applicable across the board to relationships, mental health, trauma, probably chronic illness. And her most recent book is The Nervous System Workbook, Practical Exercises to Ease Anxiety, Find Safety, and Come Home to Yourself Using Polyvagal Theory, which Christina and I know we both need this. I'm sure everybody that's listening needs this. So please welcome to Messy, Deb Dana.
It's nice to be here. I love the title, Messy.
Thank you.
Perfect. It's perfect. Because we are human. We are all messy at times, definitely. And I think in the current world we're living in, it's an invitation to be messy, isn't it?
It is. And I think yet we all struggle so much with accepting our humanness and our messiness, right? We have just such unfair expectations of ourselves, it feels like.
Yeah. And you know, a lot of that lives in the survival state of sympathetic because I call it the land of should, right? Where we have all this, we should, we have to, we need to, we must. And it's all that stuff that lives in that survival energy because, you know, it's an adaptive response to keep us trying to keep us moving forward, to push us, but it's fear-based. So it wreaks havoc with our, you know, emotional state and our physical being.
Wow, you're describing the last 43 years of my life. So I can't wait to unpack this with you. I wanted to start first, Deb, by asking you about the word trauma. I am speaking for myself, but I feel like probably for others, where I'd love for you to help me sort of redefine what it means so that we can give ourselves permission to address it for ourselves. Because I feel like sometimes we can compare trauma and just feel like, oh, well, mine is not as bad as theirs. So I think that makes us not deal with it or think that we deserve to.
Yeah. And we've always talked about like big T trauma, little T trauma, and we do compare all the time. You know, oh, mine wasn't as bad as yours, so I shouldn't. Again, we're in that sympathetic survival place. I shouldn't feel this way or take up this much room or any of those things. So if we think about trauma differently, if we think about trauma as a nervous system experience, it's our nervous system's response rather than what happened to us. It's how our nervous system responded to whatever it was that happened. And so for me, trauma happens when we get pulled into either sympathetic fight, flight, or dorsal disconnect collapse, and we get stuck there. And that's traumatic on a body and brain level. So that's where I think of trauma. I think of it as this autonomic response of getting stuck in survival, and I can't find my way out of it. I can't find my way back to the state of regulation and safety. So if we think of trauma that way, you know, it feels a little more, I don't know, acceptable perhaps. It feels like, oh yeah, that makes sense. My body is stuck in survival and it feels awful. It's traumatic.
Do most people either react with fight or flight or dorsal? Are that usually the two lanes of reaction to trauma?
Well, they're the two survival strategies that are available to us. And you know, I work with people and I say, and we all can do this for ourselves, that we all have the capacity for ventral. Every human has that capacity. I call it a home. You have a home in ventral and regulation because it's wired into your biology. And then I say we have a home away from home in one of the survival states, right? So it doesn't mean we don't visit both, but it means we tend to end up in one more than the other. So my home away from home is dorsal. right? I move quickly through sympathetic because you have to go through a bit of that mobilizing, activating, chaotic energy before you land in dorsal. But I go through really quickly. I have a friend who's home away from home is sympathetic, and I look at her and I go, how do you stay there? How does your system do that? But she stays in that drivenness to solve, to do, and that's where her survival strategy is. So, we have each. Where's yours, Jamie, do you think?
Mine is driven. I'm
driven.
Just like I want to fix it. I want to do it. I'll take a day, maybe an hour. But then I'm like, no, I gotta go. I gotta go. And I can feel how unhealthy that is, but it feels very scary to not live that way.
Well, see that's what happens. The nervous system doesn't decide if this is good or bad. It simply says, how do I help you survive? Mm-hmm. And your system says, going to drive you with that sympathetic fight, flight, cortisol, adrenaline, because the alternative is what? For your nervous system, the alternative is where your friend goes, dorsal collapse. Mm-hmm. So sympathetic says, I'm going to make sure you don't go there. Right. This is a worse place to be.
So I went in reading all the different, for lack of a better term, categories of the traumas that you had written down. I mean, the one that obviously that stuck out to me was dorsal because my trauma started at such a young age from birth. Mm-hmm. And then I was working, and it was like the working kept me from really even focusing on what home life was.
Right.
Until now, when I'm not working, and now it's an explosion of this trauma that I thought I made it through, work made me get through it and I'm strong. And then now I'm like in silence and I'm like, F word, I'm experiencing all of this for the very first time at 53.
Yeah. Well, so let's appreciate how your nervous system helped you survive though, right? We do that first. We send some appreciation to your sympathetic for driving you to survive the terror, the disaster, the chaos, the whatever. And now, because that pathway of work, distraction through work, keeping you busy through work is not there in the same way, your system can't pull that sympathetic. And so now you're discovering the dorsal that waited underneath to show you something, right?
Yeah. Do you think that understanding, and I'd love for you to explain this because I loved the way you talked about the nervous system, right? And like all the parts of it, like in the hierarchy, do you feel that when you understand that it's more applicable to?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I think when we understand it, then we understand how we're human. And how every one of us is human, which I think in this moment in the world is so important that I can look at the other people and rather than making a cognitive label about them, I can look at them and go, wow, dysregulated, right? Sympathetically charged or in flight or in fear or in dorsal despair and hopelessness. And when you go to those states, that's not a cognitive choice. It's a biological one, right? So your brain didn't say, okay, today I'm going to be angry at the world or today I'm going to dive into hopelessness. Your nervous system said the best way to keep you safe in service of your survival is to take you to these states. And I think when we can look at others that way and look at ourselves this way, we can have some, I like to say curiosity first, right? I can be a bit curious, right? Then I can reach for compassion. That's a harder reach, right? The last reach for me is self-compassion. I think that's the hardest, right? Yeah. But I can be curious about my own state. Like this morning, I was in one of those sort of, oh my God, hopeless, helpless, I just can't places, right? I was done, and I could be curious about it. Curiosity has a little of that ventral energy. So I wasn't totally collapsed in dorsal because I had enough of that, curiosity to say, let me at least explore why am I in this deep, dark well with no way out. So, I wasn't totally submersed in that. Yeah.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. Just the simple act of asking why sort of gives you a pause, right?
Yeah, and so the first thing we want to ask, the questions are, where am I in this moment? Right? So the where, right? And then we can be curious about, how did I get here? Right?
Mm-hmm.
So the why. And then the next thing is, what might my nervous system need to feel just a tiny bit more regulated or more connected or more safe? If I'm in dorsal, I'm not going to jump all the way back to ventral regulation. That's, way too big a challenge for my system. But this morning I was able to say, what might help me feel just a little less alone, disconnected?
And
Just
what
a
was
little.
that? Do you mind telling us?
My cat came over, which was just lovely. And he's very insistent. And he was like, okay, what do you need? And so there it was, right? Connecting with another mammal. And he had a need that I could meet. Right. And so that was like, oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Can you tell us about and tell our listeners what polyvagal theory is and the work that you do?
Sure. So polyvagal theory was developed by my dear friend and a brilliant scientist and a wonderful human, Stephen Porges. And that was decades ago that he developed the theory. It's a theory of the nervous system. It's what we've been talking about. And it has three basic principles that when we can understand them, we can understand, why am I doing this? Right? How did I get here? And if I want to stop this, what might I do? So, it's hierarchy, neuroception, and co-regulation. And we started with hierarchy, which are those three states. It's ventral regulation, safety connection, sympathetic fight and flight, and dorsal disconnect, collapse, shutdown. And Steve's work showed us that we move through those states in that order. Right? Our nervous system longs to be in ventral. I really do believe that every nervous system is trying to find ventral, trying to reach that place of safety and connection, or safe enough anyway, right? And I think it inherently knows how to get there. So when I do something like, my cat needed something and got me out of my little cave and I could look out, my nervous system started to come back to life because it wants to do that. Right. So if we can start it on the path, it will join us. It'll become our ally in taking us the rest of the way. And I think that's really important to remember.
Yeah.
So that's ventral. The first place we go when the world feels overwhelming is your home away from home. We all go to sympathetic. We go to fight and flight. We go to anger and anxiety. Those are the twin pathways that our system chooses. And it may choose anger more than anxiety or anxiety more than anger. Usually we do a mix of those, right?
Mm-hmm.
If that pathway, if that survival strategy doesn't help us come back to feeling safe enough in the world, we may then go to the bottom of the hierarchy, which is dorsal disconnect, despair, hopeless, give up, right? And again, our friend is saying, I know this place well, right? And again, it's not a choice. It is the other survival circuit that our system has available to us. So that was Steve's brilliant work is defining those three pathways and how we move through them. That's the hierarchy.
I think just to know that it's not a choice.
Right.
And that also that your body wants to help you.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Is like brings tears to my eyes because I think that you could think the opposite. I feel like most of my life I've thought the opposite. I couldn't imagine that especially I think when you live with a chronic illness, it's so hard to believe that your body would actually help you feel better. But then also to sort of like give yourself some grace that you're just trying to survive. I
think what you just said, Jamie, that's the turn we're trying to help people make is to not be so self-critical, so self-blaming, self-shaming, and to know it's my biology that has been shaped in a certain way because of my life experience. And the beautiful thing about polyvagal theory that brings the hope to all of us is that your system is continuing to be shaped, right? So you're not stuck where you are. Right. My work was with complex trauma survivors who came with deeply ingrained patterns of protection. And just the fact that I could tell them the science shows us that those patterns can be shaped in a new direction was so wonderful. right? So your patterns they're always being shaped and reshaped, and we can intentionally work to shape them more towards connection.
Doing more because you care about recycling. This show is sponsored by Ridwell. You already know recycling matters. That's why you fill your curbside bin week after week. But did you know only about 21% of recyclable material is actually captured and recycled? Ridwell is changing that by making it possible to recycle more stuff your curbside bin doesn't take. Think about all those plastic bags, bubble wrap. Gosh, I didn't even know that they couldn't recycle those. All the plastic mailers that are piling up at your home. Well, Ridwell recycles them through easy doorstep pickups or mailing kits that work anywhere in the U.S. Listen, there's a contamination problem. The biggest reason more stuff isn't recycled is contamination. When people try to recycle stuff that's, too dirty, or they put the wrong stuff in the recycling bin, about 25% of those materials go to landfills. But with Ridwell, you put your materials in their own bags, they stay clean, they stay separated. This way, 97% of what you give is actually recycled with Ridwell. I'm talking like batteries, clothing, anything that is lying around your house, Ridwell's got you. You can either schedule for a pickup, or you can drop off at a location. You can get a message that shows you where your stuff went and what it became. They work with more than 225 recycling and reuse partners across the U.S. and Canada. What an amazing, amazing company. It's been such an easy and hopeful thing to add to our routines, and I think you should do it as well. So if you want to try it, go to ridwell.com/messy to get $10 off your first pickup or mail-in kit. That's ridwell.com/messy, because sometimes the best way to do more is just to start with something small that you know makes a difference.
There's been all these talks and studies recently about trauma being kind of the catalyst for MS. And it really does make so much sense, because our brains are scarred, they're hurting. So I wonder if what are your thoughts on that? Because we can't sit there and say that's the reason, because that would be negligent. But also it kind of makes so much sense that, at least for myself, I can only speak for myself, of holding in all of it for all these years to then have something created in my brain of we can't handle you holding it in anymore. We can't handle you ignoring us anymore. And so I was wondering what your thoughts on that are with chronic illness, with, disease. And I think for our listeners too, to kind of feel like an empowerment, I think, because I don't feel, I'm dorsal. So I'm very
right. In dorsal,
right now.
You're not feeling much of anything. No, right. Exactly. But it's an interesting line to walk, isn't it? Because, I want to feel empowered. I want my clients to feel empowered. And part of the way we do that is by understanding how my system's working in service of my safety. And, research is showing us that for many things, as the nervous system becomes more regulated, symptoms reduce and even resolve, right? That's not to say that it's going to do that with MS. I can't change what's happened to you. I tell this to my clients, I can't change what's happened to you. I can't change, if you have a medical illness, I can't change that. But what I can do is I can help you have a different relationship with it. That's the work that I can do through the nervous system, right? So that perhaps you don't spend the next week in dorsal, right? Perhaps there's a way to find the tiny moments of ventral that will come in and soften the dorsal, right? Do you go to sympathetic as well? Is sympathetic a place you go as well?
Rarely.
Rarely.
I think right now, because I'm 3 years into this experience.
Yeah.
So I'm still in all my stages of everything.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
then I go back to the other stage and then go forward to another one. And then, it's all just here. So I kind of lay in this place, but also I've been writing, and I think a lot of things are, I'm having to really kind of say it out loud and having to re-experience something that I don't think I ever let myself experience anyway, because I didn't have time to. I had to be
survive.
Home is bad.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God I have to go to work, because I don't get to bring home to work. Like, even at 15 years old, we were not allowed. You had to be on time. You had to be even more perfect as a kid on a set than you did an adult. So it was like, it kind of probably saved my life in a way.
Exactly. Yes.
But now I'm feeling the repercussions of that and as well.
And work is one of those sort of healthy survival strategies, a healthy way of that sympathetic drives you, because there are a lot other ways that sympathetic drives us that are not so healthy, right? Mm-hmm. So yes, you had work, and it's interesting. You talk about being 3 years into this journey, so it's new. And when you have an illness, if you have something happen to you, if you land in a different place, you're inhabiting a new body now, right? And you have to learn how to inhabit that place. And you're learning how to inhabit it with the layer of also, your dorsal coming to your rescue, right? And because that's what dorsal does, it rescues us from the intensity of sympathetic. It doesn't give us a chance to rest and nourish and renew. We only get that in ventral. But it takes us out of that crazy, chaotic, disorganized place that is sympathetic, right? So your system decided, we can't do this anymore. We will not survive in sympathetic anymore. We're going to dorsal for a while, right?
Almost like a shutdown, almost like a bear in a hibernation.
Yes.
In a sad hibernation cave.
Right. And feeling, I don't know, do you feel alone in that sad hibernation?
Absolutely,
cave?
100%.
Yeah, because that's the dorsal experience. We end up there and we feel, my clients would say, and this mirrors what my experience is and most people's, alone, lost, abandoned, where no one will ever find us.
Is that on purpose? Place. Is it almost like the safety in it is that this keeps you alone where no one can harm you and no one...
Yeah. And it also, dorsal has an analgesic effect. You're sort of numb, both can be numb in body, but you're numb in, you're floaty, sort of numb, can't think, it's often a wordless place. And in all those ways, it is the antidote to sympathetic, right? Because Jamie, in sympathetic, you're feeling everything. And you've got, you're spinning, you've got all of this stuff going on, right? Yeah. So dorsal's the get me out of here. And your system doesn't believe it can get you to ventral, right? So it takes you there.
I said something the other day in a conversation, or rather an argument, or whatever it was. And the words came out of my mouth, I'd rather be alone than be upset. And it was like this thing of, I'd rather everyone just kind of go away.
Go away. Yep.
Leave me alone.
Yep.
Because you're upsetting me, and the upset is making me feel worse. Things 1,000 times deeper and 1,000 times more traumatic than I would if I was just alone. So I get to that place of like, wipe my hands, please. Mm-hmm. Like, I'd rather be alone than be upset.
Yeah. So dorsal rescues you from that. And remember, dorsal, once you've built some capacity in your system to find those tiny moments of ventral, your system's going to begin to trust that the alternative to dorsal is not sympathetic messiness. That the alternative to dorsal is there is a place in ventral where people can be. I can connect. They can feel okay to be with, right? But your system doesn't know that yet. Mm-hmm. In one of my books I wrote, yet's my favorite word, right? Just put yet at the end of the sentence. Your system doesn't know that yet. Right?
Yeah. And just going to ventral means sort of coming back more into your body, because as you can imagine, when you live with a chronic illness, we are trying to escape our bodies or forget about our bodies, right? Like rise above it, operate, and like my way is like, I mean, I kept the MS that I live with a secret for 16 years. So I trained myself to just like literally have a head here that you have no idea, you know, like the duck underwater, like that's how I imagine.
Yeah.
So if it's about getting more into the body, like what are the steps that we can take to begin to heal our nervous systems and remind ourselves of the place our body so badly wants us to go to?
Yeah, well, it's a place you are whether you want to be or not, right? You can't, we live from the neck up. A lot of us live from the neck up because that's the escape. And yet, you know, the body is what we're navigating through life with. So, you know, I like to begin by just sort of gently getting to know what those three states are like for me. Right. And I, when I do that, and in the workbook, we have a bunch of different ways to get to know. I start with sympathetic. I always start with survival. I start with the sympathetic survival to really get to know what happens. How do I know in my body that I'm in sympathetic?
Yeah.
What are the signs? What are the things I do here? What are some of the emotions that emerge here? And what are some of my thoughts? Right. Those are the 4 areas that we get to know in sympathetic. And then we do the same with dorsal. So for you have a dorsal. You may not go there often, but
my dorsal is terrifying.
Of course.
I'm scared that nobody will find me if I
You're going to be
there.
Stuck there and die there. Yes. Yeah. So can we get to know it by, and again, you know, if we can do it out here by, you know, we draw, we use words, we use colors. If we can get to know it, it's a little less terrifying. It's sort of the safe distance because it's important to know it.
Yeah.
Right? And then for you, Christine, you know dorsal well, but to give it language and shape and color and really define it concretely is helpful. And then to do the same with sympathetic, right? Because your system has the capacity to do both. So we do these 2 survival states first, then we come to ventral, right? And we could play with that for just a moment because both of you know ventral. Your nervous systems and your brains know ventral, even if it's saying at the moment, "Oh my God, I haven't been here in so long.
Yeah,
I don't know how to get there. I don't know." My clients would say, "I don't know that place," and I would say, "It's an unfamiliar place for you." You know, of course, it feels scary sometimes, even to try and get there or think about it, because it's unknown territory. You haven't been there in a long time. For some of my clients, they'd say, "I don't think I've ever been there." I said, "Well, you have, because every day," and we'll do that in a minute, every day we have tiny moments of feeling a bit of ventral every day. It's just that they go by so quickly, we don't grab them, right? But remember a moment, you know, in the past, sometime when you had a tiny moment of ventral, and what happened in your body? How did your body show you that?
So mine is spasticity. So when I live with a lot of spasticity, and I think it lines up with my energy.
Yep.
But in the moments where I have really just let go and been present, and I think gotten to ventral, my spasticity is pretty much gone.
How would you describe it? There's a
flow,
a
calmness, a presence. It's really just present because I live minutes, hours, weeks, months ahead of myself all the time.
That's sympathetic. Sympathetic puts you into the future. It will not allow you to be here in the future. Dorsal keeps you stuck somewhere in Neverland, right? It's only ventral that you can be in this moment. So there's a sense of flow. Flow's often a word I hear about the energy. Yeah. Maybe not even body, because body's a difficult word for many, many people, right? So when I work with trauma survivors, they don't have a body. I'm not going there, but they have a system and they have energy. So we work with that. So the energy feels like it's a flow. Yeah. What about you? Can you remember a tiny moment of a tiny moment of regulation or a tiny moment of connection?
I think really, truly just in my work has been it forever. I mean, I've been working since I was 4 years old. And I think a lot of my own coping mechanisms were to be like, you know what, someone else needs this attention more than I do. I'm fine. I will survive. I will always survive. I will always make it to the other side, and let them have their shit, for lack of a better term. And it's so interesting that now that I'm dealing with this, you know, this illness that has taken away my life, really, I find myself thinking, my stuff is so much worse than yours. You know, like I'm getting into like that comparison thing of,
absolutely.
Can you shut up about your whatever?
Right.
Because mine is so much worse. Like, spend a day in my shoes. Just spend a day. And I get to this place of like, almost like rage. And that's why I said, like, I'd rather be alone than be upset. I'd rather.
Right. But so that place.
That's my coping.
That place you're talking about, the rage, that's your sympathetic nervous system trying to pull you out of dorsal.
Wow.
Right? Rage is sympathetically driven, and it's saying, okay, it's messy and it's not where you want to be, but it's saying, get you out of dorsal for a moment. And then you shut out the world, you go back to dorsal. That cycle is a common cycle, right? Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, not that it feels good in the moment, but I'm going to say it anyway. Your nervous system is working to help you move up the hierarchy. It does not want to see you stuck in dorsal forever. Right. It's using rage, which is not the best. It's a messy sort of place, but it's energizing your system.
Oh, I guess so, because I really did shut everything out for 50 years. Every single thing was pushed. And I always just went, if you know, I was that guy. If anyone's going to be able to do it, I'm going to be able to do it. I'm going to get through it.
I can do this. Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't really matter to me. I don't really take anything that seriously. I would even repeat like things that had happened to me when I was a kid to people. And I'd say it so matter of factly that they'd be like, that sounds made up, because you have no emotional connection to what you're saying.
Just that flat place. Yeah.
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 And now I'm feeling it all.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, wool, like covers overhead. Which is what my hair looks like today.
Is my inability to feel anger and rage, or my not wanting to feel those things, sort of the same situation?
Yeah. So it's interesting, because when we feel numb, right? When we have that numbing going on, that's a dorsal numbing, right? But when we say, I'm not going to get angry, I'm going to do everything I can to push that away, that's still sympathetic, because it's energized in back of it, right? So if you have a lot of energy trying to keep you from feeling, that's still sympathetic. Dorsal's when all the energy drains from your system, right? And we go through that no energy, overwhelming energy, no energy, overwhelming energy, that cycle all the time.
So what would be a sign for me, being a sympathetic, that my body's trying to get me out of it? So like for Christina, like the rage, the anger is her nervous system trying to push her out of it. What could I look at as signs of my body trying to help me get out?
You're in sympathetic. Sympathetic's great, because you have two directions you can go. You can go up to ventral, or you can go down to dorsal. Do you recognize when your system's trying to pull you out of sympathetic by disconnect, by numb, by not sort of being?
Yeah, I think the way that I can sort of see that with me is I tend to want to be alone sometimes. Like I need to just shut out the world. Like I have to even like explain it to my husband, like, this is not personal. I just like, I actually like being alone a lot. And I'm thinking it's because
well, it's interesting, because let's distinguish now between solitude and aloneness, right? Because solitude fills us. Solitude feels nourishing. Yeah. And we're like solitude to social. We have that continuum. I'm much more in the solitude end too. I appreciate my time alone. And I know when I've been too long and I'm moving into lonely. So when you want some time alone and it feels, oh, this is renewing me, that's a ventral experience. When you want time alone and you feel like, oh, now I'm going into loneliness and hopelessness, that's dorsal.
Okay.
So you want to be sort of noticing that. I mean, that's the lovely thing about the nervous system. It's noticing all the time.
Yeah.
Right. Am I feeling filled, or have I moved into feeling lonely?
Yeah.
Right. And the other way for your sympathetic to help you come to ventral would be, you've got this overwhelming flood of energy. You've got plenty of energy, whereas Christine doesn't have energy. You've got too much energy. Your job is to organize the energy in some way that feels purposeful.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Support comes from Tushy. I've always wanted to say that since I'm a little kid. Listen, 'tis the season to stress shop for people who already have everything. Will you get those people? I've got you. I've got the gift that is endlessly luxurious. It's useful every day, and honestly, a white elephant gift worthy to win the office party. I'm talking about Tushy Bidet. Okay, it is so easy to install. It is so easy to use. And guess what? You're getting a gorgeous bathroom experience without toilet paper. This means better for the environment, better for your butt. Tushy is the everyday luxury bidet that instantly transforms your bathroom habits and bottom health for life. It's the perfect gift to indulge your sustainable bestie, your techie partner, your IBS-y father. Every Tushy bidet easily attaches to your existing toilet without the need for additional plumbing. And again, instead of wiping endlessly with toilet paper, Tushy pristinely removes 99% of bacteria while protecting your natural skin barrier. That's thanks to the one natural ingredient, fresh water. Remember, a-hole is only a naughty word if you wipe. For a limited time, our listeners get 10% off their first bidet order when you use code MESSY at checkout. That's 10% off your first bidet order at hellotushy.com with promo code MESSY. Support for Messy comes from Calm. Oh my God, is anyone else feeling like this year is flying by way too fast? This is a time of year where it feels like that, like, where did the time go anxiety? And it is real. It can leave me feeling scattered and behind, but Calm gives me and can give you the permission to slow down, even when everything else is speeding up around us. Calm is the #1 app for sleep and meditation. It's here to help us feel better. You know, we all could use some extra support navigating life's ups and downs. We all could use help getting the relief that we need. And with Calm, they have all of these sessions like guided meditations, you know, ones that help you work through any anxiety and stress you might have, ones that maybe you're needing to help boost your focus, to build healthier habits. They have sleep stories, sleep meditations, calming music, grounding exercise, expert-led talks. Everything you can ever imagine that you need is in your Calm app, in the palm of your hand. And listen, Calm has over 2 million 5-star reviews, so it's clearly doing something. Calm your mind and change your life. Calm has an exclusive offer just for listeners of our show. Get 40% off a Calm premium subscription at calm.com/messy. This is an amazing value. Go to calm.com/messy for 40% off unlimited access to Calm's entire library. Calm.com/messy, and tell Calm you heard about them from us.
To our listeners, you know, Jamie and I have read up on Miss Deb, so we know these words. So I have studied what this all means, and I think we're throwing out words that I think our listeners might be like, "What in the actual heck are they talking about?" Yes. So before we even move forward, can you just tell us where anyone who's listening can kind of look at these categories and see where they kind of land?
Sure. And you know what I'll do? I wrote a beginner's guide to polyvagal theory, and I'll send you that, and you can post things that people can read. Oh, that would be
great.
That's the easiest thing to do. It's in everyday people language, and it's the easiest thing to do. Yeah.
Trauma for dummies, basically. Well, sorry. That was a bad joke. But for me, this was so helpful because my little study guide.
Then again, Christine, that sort of humor, I love that humor, by the way, that humor, that is energy in your system. That is not dorsal, right? So we want to keep recognizing the not dorsal, that happens for you. Just like Jamie, you're trying to recognize, when do I have moments of dorsal?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And you could recognize some tiny moments of ventral. Christine, we're still trying to get you to recognize a tiny moment of ventral. Maybe the two of you connecting together.
We always say that the two of us, if we just mishmash together, would be crushing
like
it.
a perfect human with chronic illness.
Yeah.
We'd be the best version of ourselves, because she's rational. I use humor to deflect, but I have to laugh. If I'm not laughing, then I'm crying. And
Exactly.
I got to make myself laugh, even if it's in spite of myself.
I love that. And that feels very ventral moment to me.
Yes.
And it also, if I can just point out, it's also the one of the other organizing principles of co-regulation. Our nervous systems have a biological need to connect with other safe humans, right? And many of us didn't get that growing up, but we're still longing to find it. And it feels like the two of you have that. You do this lovely back and forth, which is, again, a ventral experience. Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. And I think that's what I think Christina and I really wanted to, our intention with this podcast. And we have such lovely listeners that have been so engaged with us and expressing the healing capability of community, which feels like that safety that you're talking about. But I love when you say that we can become active operators of our nervous system as opposed to feeling like a slave to it. So when you're talking about becoming an active operator, what does that is? I think you've been touching on that, like looking for these signs, but what can we give tangible to the people that are listening that we maybe not know exactly whether they're, dorsal or like just what are things that we can do in our lives to be active operators? So
in becoming an active operator is for me, the first step is, I call it befriending, right? And you have to befriend your nervous system. You have to get to know it. Like, how long have you guys been friends, the two of you?
We met a very long time ago, but friends 4 years, 3 years, 3.5, 4 years.
3.5 years ago.
So
summer of 2021.
See? Well,
that's when I was diagnosed, and we have a very good mutual friend named Lance, who the second I told him before I told really the world, he's like, you need to talk to Jamie. And that was it. And then our relationship started on the phone for hours, and I was so scared, and she helped me, and then we'd laugh a lot.
And I was just going to say, but I was there for her for the moment she was scared, and she made me laugh in ways I hadn't laughed in forever.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is what we do with our nervous system. You got introduced, and then you've spent 3.5 years deepening that connection, deepening that friendship, so that you know each other and you know the signs of need or joy or sadness. You know that. That's what we do with our nervous system, right? And we are not taught to do that. So most of us end up in an adult body thinking, I have no idea what's going on in here. Yeah. Right? We should start with our kids, but that's another story. But so that's the befriending process. You get introduced, and then you keep getting to know your nervous system. So through the exercise we did, what happens in those four, what happens in your body, what do you think, feel, do when you're in each of the states? Because that sets the foundation for the practice, which is notice, name, tune in, turn toward, and listen. Right? So notice, where are you in this moment? So both of you do that. Where are you in this moment? You feeling regulated, activated, or disconnected? Where are you?
All of the above.
I was going to say, I feel regulated with a little activation.
Okay. And so Jamie's a little more regulated. Christina, what's in the foreground for you?
Okay. So for me, so this is what just came to my head. When I was diagnosed with MS and I was going through like this horrific unknown, I was in the middle of working and in production, just like Jamie was when she was doing Sopranos. And so I didn't have time to see it, understand it, get it. I still don't get it. I'm 3.5 years in, and I'm like, I don't even know what multiple sclerosis is. Like, honestly, my brain's like, what exactly just happened? But then work stopped. And so it got louder. And then it got so loud that I wanted to quiet it down because I liked not knowing about it. So like, for instance, in the morning and I'm in bed and I'll turn on my TV, probably not the greatest thing, but don't care. Bravo is my life. Don't care.
Got it.
I'll turn on the TV and I'm like, I'll be like, oh, I'm okay. I'm okay. And then I'll go to stand up and the pain reminds me, the physical pain reminds me that I'm not okay. And that's then when I shut down again because I'm like, I can't. And it's like, like a metaphor in the sense of like, I can't get to the bathroom, and that's like the life of like, people want to make plans. And I'm like, I can't do the plans.
I have no predictability.
Because I don't understand what's going to happen. And I think regardless of having MS, having trauma and how we react in the world, how we react to people, how we react to relationships, how we react is all based in this other thing that we might have been pretending wasn't there.
And so understanding how your nervous system responds to certain cues begins to bring a little predictability, right? Not that we can manage what happens, but I can know that when this happens, here's where I go. Right. And one of the practices we do is the if-then practice. So if when I put my feet on the floor, I feel pain and the story is, what's the story that comes with that for you?
Don't make me cry, Deb.
Oh, okay.
The story is that I'm not okay. That's what I tell myself immediately is, oh, you forgot.
You're not
okay. You're not okay.
That's your nervous system sending the information to your brain. Your brain's job is to make up a story that makes some sign of sense and keeps you safe. The brain's saying, you forgot you're not okay because it's trying to keep you safe, right? As crazy as that seems, as irrational as all this is, it's the brain and body trying to keep you safe. So we do an if-then. If when I wake up in the morning and I put my feet on the floor, I feel the pain and my brain says, oh, don't forget, you're not safe. Then I will, and you and I can figure out what would be some then I wills. What could you do differently than, what do you do now? Do you collapse back in bed? Okay.
I do. I mean, if I have to go to the bathroom, I'll make it there.
You'll get there. Yeah,
I'll get there.
So what's a different than I will?
I fall off the toilet. All these metaphors. Just
get it.
I'm gonna make shirts of all my like weird metaphors.
Yeah, right.
Today. Yep. I just fell off the toilet.
Exactly.
Welcome to Tuesday.
Welcome to Tuesday. Right. So what would be a different than I will that might be possible? That your nervous system and brain might say, "Oh, maybe." Then I will what?
Because I lost hope.
Right. That's dorsal.
Lost. Mm-hmm. I have no hope. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I'll have that moment of like miracles can happen. And, if I just do this, I know I'll get stronger.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, the pain is too excruciating because Jamie and I have very different symptoms. Mine is excruciating pain. And sometimes it is when I'm laying down, my ankles start to burn and it feels like they're chopping my feet off. But then I'm like, screw it. I'm just why even bother? I don't have anywhere to report to.
And that's the beauty of dorsal. And I know that's a crazy thing to say, but that's the beauty of dorsal. It says, give up, don't bother, don't feel, don't be, just float. Right. Mm-hmm. So
floating would be really nice.
It would, wouldn't it? Yeah, I know.
So my feet don't have to touch the carpet. It hurts.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. So we have to work on the if this, then what? And we have to create some different scenarios for if this happens, then I'm going to try whatever. And I don't know you and I don't know your system well enough to know what, would work for you, right? With my clients, we would sometimes, create these other places. We would have a mantra, we would have a visualization, we would have a phone a friend, we would have find your cat. We would have these other things to try and then see what happens, right? Because we want to give your nervous system another option.
Support for Messy comes from Honeylove. Support for my boobs, support for my midsection also comes from Honeylove. I I've talked about Honeylove bras. I've talked about their shapewear. They're really unmatched. And listen, we've got a lot of holiday moments coming up, whether that means comfort for traveling, those long days, family dinners, holiday parties. We want to feel confident and we want to feel comfortable. So let's start first with their new Cloud Embrace bra. It is the perfect treat yourself gift, by the way. It is a modern wireless t-shirt bra with sturdy, lightly padded foam cups. It makes you feel like a cloud is against your skin. Honestly, sometimes I get home and forget that I have a bra on. What a great gift to give somebody. It's also great for those travel days because you're getting the wireless support that feels light as a cloud, but still holds everything in place. And let's talk about the dance floor on New Year's Eve, that Honeylove shapewear that features targeted compression that enhances your curves and doesn't squish them is perfect. So treat yourself or someone you love to Honeylove this holiday season. And right now you can save 20% off at honeylove.com/messy. Just use our exclusive link, honeylove.com/messy, to grab your discount. And after you order, they'll ask where you heard about Honeylove. So please support our show and let them know we sent you. Celebrate the season feeling confident and comfortable with Honeylove. Support for Messy comes from iRestore. The holidays are here. It is a perfect time to reset your skin or give the gift that goes beyond the ordinary. This is for sure going to be the favorite gift, whether it's a white elephant, to a mother-in-law, to a spouse, to a friend. I'm telling you, people will go bananas for this because enter the Illumina face mask. We've talked about this. The dermatologist recommended at-home treatment that has 360 medical-grade LEDs. It uses the red, infrared, blue light to target your fine lines, your breakouts, your sun damage, your inflammation. It's the easiest thing in my routine, I swear to God. I have it in my nightstand. It has this portable remote. Pop it on. I watch TV, 10 minutes. I'm getting the skin of my dreams. And guess what I'm adding to my routine, adding to my Christmas list? The Illumina neck and chest mask. I'm of a certain age. We can't ignore this area anymore. So if you're looking like me to smooth, firm, and tighten the skin in the spots where, aging and sun damage tend to show up first, this mask has us covered. It has 230 medical grade LEDs, twice as many as other top masks. It delivers deep, targeted treatment for all those wrinkles, those sunspots, and all of that dullness. It also you can buy the Renew Calming Facial Spray and Anti-Aging Eye Cream that will, enhance everything that you're doing with your Illumina face mask. Give your skin the love it deserves this holiday season. iRestore is running a huge Black Friday savings all month long, and you can use code MESSY at iRestore.com for a little something extra on the Illumina face mask. That's code MESSY at iRestore.com. Treat yourself or someone you love to glowing, healthier skin.
I was going to say, but and then I'll be quiet about it. But in 2005, I broke my foot on Broadway and I danced on a broken foot.
Oh, geez.
I got it healed quicker than doctors have ever seen. I swam every day for an hour with my foot outside the pool. Try it. Go into a pool.
No, thanks.
Swim with just two arms and one leg and one hanging up behind you. Just try. Just try.
That's some hamstring strains, my friend.
It's literally, as my friend says, impossible.
Yeah, and you did
it. And I did it. And I had this fight. That's gone. I don't have that thing anymore. And it bums me.
You miss it.
I miss having that thing that was like, no, there's a focus here. And I have an end of the road that I want to get to here.
So again, the dorsal lack of thinking anything is possible, the absence of fight, the dorsal absence of fight is, adaptive survival, right? Because in this moment, your system says, if I go to the fight, it's overwhelming. It's too much. So we have to build some capacity first to be able to come back. That's why we do tiny things. Tiny. And people, my clients would say, I want to feel like I'm moving towards something. I said, I get that. The nervous system wants you to do some tiny thing. Mm-hmm. And keep track of the tiny things because that's what's leading you towards something new. And I know how frustrating that is, especially when you've lost so much. That's the loss, the grief, the loss. That again, grief and loss take you to dorsal and then take you to sympathetic and dorsal sympathetic, right? And, I don't know. I have a sustaining belief about my nervous system that it knows what it's doing, right? I keep telling myself my nervous system knows, right? And as I travel through my own process, and mine's not yours. My husband died a little over a year ago. And so it's a different grief, but I sit with my nervous system knows what it's doing. And that's my sustaining belief. That's what keeps me going.
That's such a powerful mantra because especially, like Christina and I said, for it to live in these bodies that we've come to feel like they betray us, that they don't know what they're doing because whether we're in a doctor's office, physical therapy, and they're like, well, we need to fix this. It's like you constantly feel like you're living in this broken.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And in the world of grief and loss, not the world of medical grief and loss, but the sort of psychological grief and loss, it's easier to tell people, leave me alone. My nervous system knows what it's doing because there's not this whole scientific, world that says, I know what is best for you.
Yes.
This world is a little more forgiving. Even still, people tend to tell you, you should be doing this or you should be over this. And I'm sure you get that all the time.
It's our favorite.
Oh yeah.
And that's sarcasm.
So you can, I get it. But you can look at the person and say, oh, your sympathetic should is showing, right? Because that their should comes from a place of having to manage and control. Right.
Yes.
I was going to say fear.
Yes. It's fear.
People don't want you to be sick, and not because they actually care. It's like, it makes them uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Because
exactly.
what we're dealing with is out of our control and it's uncomfortable. And I don't want to make what your life's work about our MS, but this is why we're relating to it so much, because they don't want us to not be okay, because it makes it harder for them to live in this world.
And so what's the best way for a person to connect with you? What is, and each of your nervous systems might say something different.
Yeah.
What's the best way for you, Jamie?
I'm very lucky to have an incredible group of friends around me who one time, one of them made a joke, Jamie, on your tombstone, it's just going to say, I'm fine. Because that's what you tell us all the time. I'm fine. No, I'm fine. I've got it. I'm fine.
Uh-huh.
In the moments when I have broken down to my friends about what I'm experiencing and what I'm feeling, they have met me with so much love and gratitude, being like, thank you for telling us what we know you are feeling. So to have a community of people that allow me to just fall apart and know that it is okay. I think I've had a pretty traumatic year. My son was very ill this summer.
Mm-hmm.
We're still dealing with the aftermaths of it. But the intensity of the experience, even though what I have dealt with for 23 years living with MS and other things in my life have been hard, like this was my real, like, bring me to my knees, God, where are you moment. I had community show up in a way that I was able to receive, because at first it wasn't for me, it was for my son. But then in turn, I could realize, like, oh, they love my son, but they're here for me. I do feel more support and love than I've ever felt, where I'm like, for the first time in my life, like really being like, all right, I'm ready to face it all. Like, I'm ready to face all the shadows and all the things, because I know that I have a place to fall back on. And I think that, that's where I tend to fall in sort of every once in a while, a deep gratitude for my human experience. But these like very tangible ways that you're explaining, of just like, sometimes even with supplements, I get overwhelmed with supplements doctors are wanting to give me. But when you take the time to understand, but this is going to do this for you. I'm more inclined to be like observant of the plan. And, so hearing that like these things about our nervous system, I thank you so much. It's such a gift because I think it's so hard to believe that our bodies are taking care of us, especially when you're sick.
And that there's wisdom in there, right?
Yeah.
If we can, part of this work is learning to listen to what's your nervous system trying to tell you, right? And I don't know MS enough to know how it flares and how it, so, your nervous system's always trying to tell you something, and it uses symptoms to do that, right? And I wanted to say two things about what you just said. One, that you have a community that meets you where you are and does not need you to be okay, right? And they can do that because they're anchored in regulation, right? When they get dysregulated, they're going to then need you to be different. But they're anchored in regulation, and they don't see you as broken or needy. They just see you as human, which is lovely.
And yet, Jamie and I, we talk a lot about feeling like burdens to the people that love us and that we love.
Yes.
And
I mean, that's your nervous system. Yeah.
It's like, no, I don't want to be, no, I don't need help through the door. Nope, I got this. I'm getting down the stairs on my own. Nope, I got this.
So if that comes from a place of if that feels, yes, it doesn't, it's not because I'm angry or I'm feeling like I'm a burden to you, but it comes from I can do this place, not a driven I can do, but I can do this. That's ventral. That's wonderful, right? When it comes from I can do this because the alternative is, I'm a burden, then that's a survival strategy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was saying earlier when we first started talking about kind of telling myself this lie through all my years of that someone else needs the support more than I do, because I took it upon myself of like, no, I'm going to be okay. Regardless, my story might be crap, but you know who's going to do it? Me. And that's, I don't pat myself on the back for that, but it was like, they need it more than I do. They need the attention more than I do. They need all of that more than I do. And that's where when it got so quiet here, I was like, oh, wait. Yeah. And it's really hard to let go of that.
Yeah.
Well, your nervous system has to trust that it's safe enough to let go of it.
Yeah.
Right. Because your nervous system created that out of safety. It was keeping you safe and alive by managing everything else. Yeah. And now as it starts to quiet down, and my clients would tell me this all the time, as we started to move out of the survival strategy, it got a little quiet, a little slower, and then everything comes up. Everything that's been pushed down comes up. And so we need to be careful and be able to welcome small bits of it, because otherwise we go to dorsal, which is right. Yeah.
I used to be able to meditate for like hours.
Seriously? Oh, I've never been able to meditate.
Okay, fine. Okay, let's do an hour. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Completely quiet. I taught myself how to do it. And now that I'm this way, I can't.
No.
It's so loud. It's so distracting. And I think it's all that's the stuff, everybody's coming up to the surface and wanting an open mic night in my brain.
I love it. Open mic night. Yes. So you used to be able to meditate. First of all, I'm impressed with that. I cannot meditate. It's never going to happen for me.
Really?
Oh God, no. I you know what happens if I meditate, if I attempt, my sympathetic gets activated because it feels very dangerous to go into that. And then if that doesn't work, I just dissociate, because then I can look like I'm meditating, but I'm not really here doing it. Right. So
that's like making schedules.
That's a good skill to have, I have to say. Learned that one when I was
I loved that. I loved young. My life like that.
Right. But for you, Christine, because you have your system remembers meditation. It's wired in, that memory is in there. You could try a mindful moment. And that would be lovely. Meditation, forget that. But could you have a mindful moment where you just
try?
I
used to go on silent retreats with my church.
Oh gosh,
silent.
Oh gosh,
for 3 days where no one spoke to a person.
I'm with you, Jamie. No.
And you're like meditating from 6 a.m. till the nighttime. I could do it if I close my eyes for 2 seconds and I'm like, okay, let's breathe in the goodness and out with the badness. My brain's like, you're a dum-dum. You can't walk. And it just gets really loud. And I'm like, oh God, shut up, please be quiet.
Right. So what could it tolerate. See, because the other thing is we're always looking for what is the right degree of challenge for our nervous system.
Yeah. So
right?
that was going to be my question was like, how do we integrate some like polyvagal strategies in a moment, in a stressful moment that you're feeling? Like what's a baby step that you can do?
Well, we need to create those when we're not in a stressful moment, right?
Of course.
So we need to think,
make a toolbox.
Yeah. So we play around. I like a menu, right? Toolbox means I'm broken, like right? I don't want to be broken, but I want a menu that I get to pick, and I get to pick like the simplest thing for me. I put my hand over my heart a lot. It's just a natural, and that's just a reminder that, oh yeah, I'm here, right? Simple, right? You sighed, right? Sighing is a nervous system thing that happens. And when we sigh and recognize it, we know that we have a tiny moment of interrupting what's going on. I call them anchors. We look for anchors, and sometimes anchors are objects. And so some of the time I'm a Mainer, and I sometimes live near the beach. And every time I walk the beach, I bring home a beach stone, right? So I have beach stones everywhere. And so having a beach stone handy is something for me, because when I hold it, it brings back that sense of being there and feeling the safety of it. Yeah. What do you have?
Do you glunk?
Do I what?
Do you glunk?
I don't know what glunking is. What is that?
Sometimes we got to talk about other things. Sea glunking, which is finding sea glass.
Oh, I love sea glass. Do you know it's really
like my favorite thing.
Well, look at that.
To do.
Look at that.
Well, yeah. I have I have a house near the beach.
Yeah.
And we have these huge glass things of all the glass we found on that beach. And it's like thousands and thousands of pieces, from apothecary tops, from like pirate ships and stuff.
Yeah.
And and I would go out there when I bought the house. I had just had cancer, and I've had a fun one.
You have.
And that was like it. I could go for hours with my little Ziplocs and my little things and find
glunking, huh?
That's what it's called, sea glunking.
I love it.
It's finding sea glass. So when you said that, it resonates with me, because I haven't done it in so long, because I can't really walk the beach so much anymore. But
what did you notice? What did you notice in your nervous system when you
complete calm?
Yeah. See, it
was before. There's pre-MS, post-MS.
But right now,
but can even just talking about it be that?
No, like it makes me want to cry. Like the sound, my feet in the sand, and trying to find in the midst of all these rocks that little shiny piece of glass that's been there for 100 years.
Some pretty color.
How can you move past the grief thing?
When Christine was talking, though, and she recognized the sadness, but I think your nervous system also had the memory of doing it, right? Because that is wired in. That's biological memory. Your brain then goes to, I can't do it, goes to all these other places. But that memory, when you were talking, I could feel that. Mm-hmm. And I think your nervous system brought you a moment of that as well.
Yeah, like I'm about to cry because I miss it so. I love that so much.
So you're not doing it now, and yet go back just dip a toe in the memory, because that memory lives, and that memory has a nervous system experience. Not the moment now, but the memory of the past has a nervous system experience that goes with it that will bring you a tiny, I call them glimmers, a tiny glimmer, right?
Well, the glass is a little glimmer.
See, there you go.
On sand.
And so it's every one of those pieces of glass in that huge, which I'm imagining, when you were talking about it, I was having an experience of imagining. I used to be able to find sea glass all the time, and now I can't on my beach. I just find stones. I think people stopped throwing things in the sea. I don't know.
Maybe it's better for pollution,
Probably.
I guess. But we would be able to find stuff that, like, it was so old. And like glunking in other countries is really fun, because we went to Italy one time. I'm going on a tangent, but I want to talk about how happy that made me.
Yeah.
We found this little beach when we were in Capri, and I know I sound super douchey, sorry, kayaking in Capri. But it was this beach that like no one had been on. And there was like pottery, like really old pottery from like, who knows what it was from. I mean, it could have been like from Crate and Barrel, but I like to think that
we have a different story. Yes.
we have a piece of pottery from a pirate ship or someone who discovering things. I don't know. It just is such a beautiful, I don't know. Go glunking, everybody.
I love it.
Nice.
And as Christine is talking about glunking, you can feel it, right? You can feel her nervous system in that moment.
Yes.
Yeah.
But let me ask you. So I have my own glunking things, right? That I think bring me back to a time in my life where I felt so happy and present. Mine is singing.
Oh.
I grew up on stage singing my whole life. And as the MS started to manifest, it meant I couldn't be on Broadway anymore. I couldn't do that stuff. So I just stopped singing. And anytime that I will go to try to sing again, I have so much grief. I can't even get a note out past the tears. When we have those things that we want to reconnect with ourselves, what are steps we can take to move with the grief? Make room alongside the grief, you know?
Yes, yeah. Is there if you thought right now, is there a particular moment that would come to mind of singing?
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me just a little bit about it.
It wasn't even anything like extra special. It was this voice teacher that I used to see in the city all the time had a showcase of his young actors, and it was all Broadway kids. I wasn't on Broadway as a kid. I did community theater on Long Island, but I felt so special that he wanted me to be there with all the Broadway kids and gave me 2 solos.
Oh, so if we use that for a moment, what's the sensation in your body as you head back into that moment, as you remember that moment?
I can remember, the reason I chose this moment is I remember vividly being on stage and singing and feeling so effortless. Like I just felt like a channel. It wasn't even it was my gift to share. Like it wasn't mine. Like it was something that was coming through me.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's that effortlessness sensation in your body and the image.
Open, just so open.
Open. And the image of being on stage, is that the image that goes with it? What's the image?
To me, it's like the spotlight where I can't even see where I am. I couldn't even see a face in the audience. It was just
beautiful.
A complete me and this gift that I was given.
So in the spotlight, can't see anything else. So, and the feeling, the emotion is what?
Oh, it's so calm. I couldn't even feel that I had a body.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
It. Just yeah. So we have that body sensation, open, effortless. The image in the spotlight, can't see anything, just there, and the feeling calm. And you talk about something flowing through you. What's the thought? What's the thought that you just holds it all together? I'm so happy. Yeah.
And I think it's also like, this is where I'm meant to be and what I'm meant to do.
This is where I'm meant to be. Yeah, what I'm meant to do. Yeah. So if you were going to give that moment a title, what would you call it?
I don't know why I want to say the word light. Just like everything about it felt light.
Light. So go ahead back into that moment. Just for a moment, really bring it alive, that sensation, the effortlessness, the openness, the image of in the spotlight, can't see anything, the feeling, right? The flow, the calm, the coming through you, and the thought, this is where I'm meant to be and what I'm meant to do. And just sit in that. That's wired into your mind, body, memory system, and let it be. What happens? Yeah.
It's peaceful.
Yeah. It's beautiful. Thanks for taking us there. Thanks for taking us there. It's beautiful. See, those are the things that, if we go to our head now and say, well, I can't do that. You do all the other things, but the experience lives in your nervous system. Inside you, and it's there for you to recall, to remember, to re-enter into. And so those are the things that I like to do, build those. I call it a sift. You did the sensation, image, feeling, thought. We build sifts. And so when my clients would, message me and say, I'm totally stuck in whichever survival state, I would say, go grab a sift. Read me the elements of the sift, because it brings it back to life. Yeah. Right? We can't cure anything, but we can have different experiences as well. Right? It's the both and that I think is what we're looking for. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you for that moment. Before we let you go, we're both mothers. We have a lot of parents that listen to this. Are there little things that we can do to help instill a healthier relationship with our children and their nervous systems?
Well, what I'm going to say.
Or is that such a long, loaded question?
No, I mean,
Jeez, Jamie.
The easy answer is the hard answer as a parent. I'm a grandparent, so I get to do things differently, which is I'm really enjoying. But I wish I'd known a lot of this when I was parenting my kids. Although
but you can't, right? That's what my dad tells me all the time. My dad says his favorite stage of life is being a grandparent.
Yes, exactly.
But it's because you just can't know it when you're in it.
No, you can't. But the thing that your kids are looking for from you is simply regulation, right? And none of us are regulated all the time. No human is regulated all the time. And there's this lovely research by a colleague in Boston, Ed Tronick, who says that to have a kid form a secure attachment, right? To have that secure base, really, we're attuned with them about 30% of the time. So I would ask my clients to say, can you do it 1 out of 3 times? And most of them would say, I think I can do that. The difference is the other times you recognize that there's been a rupture and you return later and make a repair.
Yes.
Right. That's the deal. That's how we create kids who feel safe in the world. Right. And, if you can then sprinkle in helping them get to know their nervous system, right? Boy, does that go a long way, because they feel safe in the world and they can come to you and say, Mom, I am stuck in hopelessness. And you don't go to your head and try to talk them out of it. Yeah. You go be with them and say, I get it. Tell me more. Right? I mean, that's always the good, tell me more. Right? It's because you have people who are with you. Yes, we're there for them as well, but being there with is really what they're looking for. They want someone there with them, right? That's what our nervous systems are looking for. I don't want somebody there for me. I don't need you to solve my problem. I think Christine would go with that, right? But I want someone with me.
My daughter is 14 today.
Oh,
and yeah. I love that your only answer is
exactly. Uh-huh.
But
I get it.
She's pretty damn wise. And she just goes, Mom, can you just stop trying to fix it and just be here? And so,
right.
She's been teaching me that way. And so now it's like, we have what we call lanai talks, which we have talked about before, where we go outside and it's just Mama Sadie time.
Yep. Yeah.
And we just talk.
I love it.
And I listen.
Yep.
And I do everything in my power to try not to fix any of it. But give her the tools to fix it on her own.
Yep.
So someone came in. I have to tell you this. It's funny, and then we'll let you go. Sorry, I don't think we should ever let you go, but that's okay.
I know.
She burned herself with a lighter yesterday because she was lighting a candle. And my friend came up and said, she burned herself with a lighter. And I went, and okay. Does she know how to use a lighter? Yes.
Yeah.
Did she go against the rules of using said lighter? Did she burn herself? Is she dealing with the consequences of said lighter burning of skin? I was like, I couldn't believe myself because I was like, okay. It's like, I told you.
Yeah.
You have the tools.
Yeah.
I'm right here for you. I'm not going to fix it. Not going to run down with stuff.
But you're there as a safe haven.
Yeah. Yeah. But come on. It's a lighter. Come on.
Yeah.
Sorry. Come on.
Christina is a wonderful mother.
I can feel that.
I'm not saying that my daughter should burn herself. I'm just saying
I get that. Yeah.
I'm trying to give her the tools, and if you don't use them, then all I can do is be supportive.
Right.
Yes.
What do you need? You know, my
grandkids,
I have a granddaughter who just turned 13. So that's my I kind of get that age.
The
yeah.
Yes.
But
was big.
It's interesting because, you know, I'll ask them not what do you need, but what does your nervous system need? And we can have that language now. So,
I like that. I'm going to do that with Sage.
Yeah. Because it's a different experience. What does your nervous system need? Right.
She had math on her birthday. So she wasn't
need
happy
that
this morning.
Yep,
she was not happy. That's why she was texting me. She was
you have
crying.
an animal there of some sort. What is it?
I have a cat. I have 2 cats and a dog. So this is my old lady. She's 18.
I think she brings you some regulation too.
She does, but I become allergic to her. So I don't know what that's about. Maybe we'll discuss that on our own, Deb.
I mean, I think the two of you are really, you know, it's amazing the human capacity to live with, right? And Jamie, when you were talking about you can, you know, manage your regimen when you understand why, that's one of the things the nervous system needs. It needs context, it needs choice, and it needs connection. So you also need choice, right? And sometimes we feel like that's been taken away from us when we don't have control over. But so we find, you know, the last, you know, little suggestion is find all the places you can find choice, right? Get the context so that you know what's what, right? Connection you have with each other, you have with your communities. And then what do you have choice around? Because when we feel like we've lost choice, we go to survival.
Wow, Deb, thank you so much. This was just truly life-changing. I really appreciate you.
Thank you.
Spending your time with us. Will you please tell our listeners how to find you, all your books, everything, so that they can continue to...
Yeah, sure. Come to my website, rhythmofregulation.com. That is where you'll find me. No social media, none of that, but rhythmofregulation.com. And we've got some meditations, we've got some free stuff, and just come and explore. It's a nice place to begin to befriend your nervous system.
Perfect. And I pull a card from this random thing of cards. We never know what it says, but if you don't mind just being on with us while I read it.
Let's see.
It's so crazy.
Okay, this one's short. Not everything that can be counted counts, and not everything that counts can be counted.
Oh, I love that.
There you go.
That's a beautiful card.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm
Deb.
taking that with me because that landed right here.
That was for you.
Beautiful.
Good. That was for you, Deb. Thank you so much. What a pleasure.
And so it is.
And so it is.
This show is executive produced by Christina Applegate, Jamie-Lynn Sigler, and Allison Bresnick. Our audio engineer is Josh Windisch.
And if you want to show us some love, don't forget to leave the show a rating or review. Hi, it's Jamie. Thanks for listening. I just want to let you know I am a paid spokesperson for Novartis, but this podcast is independent from my collaboration with Novartis.